Hello.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
There are definitely different types of intuition.
Yes.
There was that intuition with my ex that I felt almost right away that I did not listen to because I
Mm,
was looking for something and I thought I was hearing everything correct, and even though I kept second guessing, second guessing.
hmm
And then when everybody says, you need to reevaluate this, and I was like, well, you got to give me time because I'm in it, and now I got to get out of it in my own way. So that intuition.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
the other intuition is literally watching my daughter back out of the driveway this morning, and I thought, geez, maybe I should just, I don't want to text her because I don't want to look at the text. Maybe I should call and just say, be careful, drive careful. I
Mm,
just got that feeling. Well, then it kind of, I just went and did something else. And didn't she call me and say, Mom, my tire's flat? And I
I
was like,
see.
ah, ah, I just had
I
the,
knew it.
I just had it. And, my family is very, very, spiritual in the way that both you and Cicely are talking about,
Yeah.
because even my daughter, she came into my house, she's only lived here, a few weeks, but I'm staring at this crystal above my door. It's an amethyst. It's actually
hmm
kind of on the matrix too.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really spiritual. And I did have my house cleansed not too long ago after
Okay.
he left because
Yeah.
I just
That's
felt sick, 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 sick.
good idea.
So
Yeah.
I had somebody come in and take care of business, and there was only a couple times that he had come back after, but the new girlfriend had not been back in, and I just felt something wasn't right after she had been in my house. So it didn't feel good, and I felt sick, sick, sick all the time. And when I fell, I felt like that was not a good scenario. There was something
Mm.
kind of connected. And you can't say stuff like that. Like, he wasn't someone that would ever believe that, but I'm like, listen, I do believe that there's negative energy that can come into your life.
$1,000,000%.
Yes, that
Yeah.
can add to some things, but you gotta fight it. You gotta be able to grab onto what you know, whether it's what you've been taught or what you feel. Like, don't ignore it. Like Cicely said, you're there. Don't act like you don't know. You better act like you know, because I know,
hmm
and I don't brush it off. And my sister is extremely into her crystals and her rocks, and she wears one in her bra.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I actually tell her, do you believe what you're doing though? Because sometimes your luck is like the worst of the worst. Like, I think you have to, if you're doing it, you better be believing in what you're doing, because
Well, you got to know what you're doing. So
you have
here's
to
a
know
perfect
what you're doing.
example. So, like I said, I've done tons of readings, and I'm always fascinated when I work with, the universe.
Yeah.
And it's like laser beams. I know exactly where to go, and that's why I can help expedite healing and move things along. It's awesome. It's a part of the gift. But people that are like, when I work with them, I'm like, you have to understand, I am a high vibrational person. I am a very safe person, and my intent is good when I'm working with you. I don't have different agendas. Not everybody operates that way. So
Right.
I think that it's very, so when you say that you have to have awareness, you definitely have to have awareness, right? You have to listen to your intuition, and you have to make sure that you are protecting yourself and not going into these places. People that don't know about their inner power or their intuition, and they go to other people and they just like kind of tell me who I am and all this stuff, you're really putting yourself in a vulnerable space if you don't know the energy that reader or intuitive is sharing with you, because they're going to bring their frequency in. Like I said, I'm extremely high frequency. It's good. So you're always going to get healing energy, but sometimes that doesn't happen all the time. So I just want to put that out there. I always say that to any of
I
the
might
folks that I
come back
work
up
with.
because I do want to tell you a little bit about with my family history with the intuition, because there's
Sure.
been journals.
Sure. Sure. I have two in queue. I'm gonna bring Robin back up so she can finish what she was saying. I hope you guys understand. And I will say, Robin, the the amethyst that you have there, I'm not surprised that you're tapping into intuition. It's all about spirituality and clarity and protection. So, these crystals, they actually really work. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you wear those. I have crystal bracelets all the time,
Yeah, the
and I have
bracelet.
protection bracelets on all the time because I pour a lot into people, but I have to make sure that I'm protected. And when they serve their purpose, they break. They actually break. So
Hmm.
they absorb the energy and then they will break. But the
Right.
fact that you have the amethyst there is actually really a great place to have it, because you're actually, if you have it at the doorway, you are tapped in, tuned in to your intuition. So when you're feeling those vibes, you got to stay with them because you've already set your home to have that when anything is coming into your house. Okay,
Well,
I'll pause there.
my brother kind of looked up at it and kind of looked back over his shoulder like, "Oh, woo woo," and I'm like, "Okay,
That's my
that's great.
point.
You're
They
getting
could woo
energies right
woo
out the
away.
door
Yeah.
then."
I know it works. I've
Love
seen
my
way too
brother.
many things. Yeah. So go.
So when kind of it can't just be any old crystal, any old rock. I ha I have to feel drawn to it.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not like someone's like, "Oh, you should do this this for
Nope.
this, and this for this." And I'm like, if I'm not literally drawn to something, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I
my
will say this, that's your intuition. Your
Yeah.
intuition knows what you need more than I know what you need. Your intuition is pulling you to the crystal and the crystal's properties. There's an inner knowing there. So you're
My
already using it.
my mother and my grandmother kept journals, and when after their passing and we found them, we were like, "Wow, okay." So
Mhm.
we found some things, lots of protection, lots of stuff. Now these are two women that went through it. I'm telling you, went through it. And I don't know if they were stuck in it to try to show us how to not
Mhm.
get stuck in it.
Yep.
My sister, I feel like she's still stuck in it.
Mhm.
I get the lesson each time. I don't keep going back. Like I do to a degree, but it's not to like I've learned something a little bit more each time.
So
And
when you say stuck in it, what do you mean by stuck in it?
so my sister will not, even though she knows the man that she's with is a very is not a good entity for her to be around.
Okay.
She won't let it go.
Okay. Okay. Now I understand.
That's
Okay.
her journey. That's her
Yeah,
journey.
absolutely.
And
Mhm.
my mom with my dad, and my grandmother with my grandmother stayed with my grandfather for a long time, and he was not, I mean, he was a good guy, but he was not a great man, like
Mhm.
he did some things, and she just stayed with it and accepted it and all that. And I just knew sometimes you don't learn like what you should do from people, you learn what you shouldn't do from
Yeah,
people.
correct.
And that is
Correct.
my life, is I've learned from my family the things that I shouldn't do and shouldn't accept.
And that's
And
you breaking the pattern, right?
yes, yep,
For your
absolutely.
family and everything. That's excellent.
Yep. So that intuition is there, and whether you can kind of pull upon it or draw upon it or utilize it is I guess it's going to be variable to where you are in your vibration.
Well, and I think that for everyone to understand, you have it. So if you haven't, all of us were born with intuition. It's how we tap in. Now, if you understand you have it and you haven't really used it, what today's conversation is to say, hey, just start with the little nudges and whatever, go with it and see. Like we all have stories where like, I wish I would have listened to that. Or, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. And it was your little whisper of your intuition that
Well,
brought you there.
even just things like I'll say out loud, like say we're out hiking. Years ago, I used to do a lot of hiking and rock climbing, and even mineral collecting.
Mm-hmm.
And before my daughter was born, and just like Cicely said, I'm the person that says, "I wonder how many people walked in this exact spot before
Oh,
me."
I love
I
that.
say things like that, and people look at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I'm like,
Yeah, well,
"Listen,
I love it.
there's
This
a
is what I
sense
mean. Your
of
tribe.
there is a sense of other beings that have been in
Mm-hmm.
these very same paths and footsteps. And
Mhm.
it's not, I mean, you would be remiss to think if you
Mhm.
were the only person that stepped on that land or that, in that space, in that water, in that, and water, of course, is always flowing. So it's always
Oh,
changing.
it's so good. And
Can't
water is
resist
very
that.
symbolic of our emotions, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be understand that it's flowing and it runs deep, right? So there's so much we learn
Yeah.
from nature. Yeah. So, Robin, I think that you said something that is really important for everyone to understand. Okay. The reason why on my show in particular, I talk about you tapping in and I give you little gifts and tips and wisdom bombs and whatever. And if you can walk away and feel confident enough to work on yourself, you're going to be at the point where you'll be confident enough to trust your intuition and be courageous enough to step forward, to say those things in open, like, oh, yeah, look at all this. Look at the stars here, or look at the trees, or look at whatever, right? You're connected in with nature on a much deeper level. And I really want you to understand the power of nature. This is not a joke. This is actually really a healing methodology. The more you can connect in, the better. And but being courageous enough to say it. And if you say it and people are like, what are you talking about? They may not be your peeps. But I will tell you, like, even when I'm talking about this stuff now, some people might be like, oh, I want to change the channel. This is not for me, Christina. But other people are going to be like, I want more. I'm thirsty. I want more of this. I want more nourishment and I want to understand this further. I want to be able to tap into my intuition. Then those are my peeps. So that's my point, Robin. It's like, it doesn't matter what they say. If, when we're giggling, we're kind of like, oh my gosh, okay, well, that I look weird here, but you don't look weird everywhere. So, because you say that to me or Cicely, we're like, oh man, that's cool. Yeah, you're right. I wonder. We're with you in the world of wonder and the world of magic. So I think it's fabulous. It's a great call out to bring up. Okay, and then I've got Steph, and then I got Cicely again. I'm telling you, this show, I knew it. I was like, I got called. We have to talk about this today. Hey, Steph, what do you think?
First of all, I love that. I always felt weird because I would say stuff like that too. When you go to pioneer villages or really old houses, I'm always
Mm-hmm.
like, somebody sat here and how many people lived here or what would they do? Because you can kind of feel the essence of
Oh yeah,
people were here
yeah.
for hundreds of years. And how neat is that?
Well, that's why history was my undergrad because of that. Like I
Oh,
found it fascinating listening to people's stories and knowing that, yeah, we stand here now, but there's a whole like tons of souls and people that have come through. And
oh, and
there's
that's
so
why
much learning.
Europe
Hmm.
is fascinating.
Oh, yes, I would have to
And
agree.
when I've been to Austria and England, and it was just wow,
Mm.
this has been around for
Hmm.
so long. Because here in
Hmm.
Canada, I mean, we're still a fairly new country,
Yeah.
basically, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's
And they
true.
tear down a lot of the old buildings. I'm like, no, why?
Yeah, I know when I really had that feeling. I went to Africa and I was
Mm.
in the northern part in Tunisia, but they had this civilization. I don't know, it was like Mayan civilization, but it wasn't Mayan. It was like thousands and thousands year old like homes that are still standing. Like we haven't made anything that would stand the test of time. To see that these buildings are still standing, that was like the eye opener. I know,
So
but
cool.
that's why traveling is like if you can get out there in that sense of learning, it's pretty powerful.
Hmm. I know you were going to talk about this, but I was thinking also about I know part of my intuition
Mm-hmm.
when kind of rage comes up.
Yeah.
And last year or the past 5 years, I've been learning different things. But then after a while, so I was in different webinars, and like you were saying, people will say, you need to watch this so and so,
Oh, it drives me nuts.
whoever. And I stopped listening because I'm like, if I feel led, okay, maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no. Or maybe like my friend will get something out of it or I will, but the other one of us won't. We're like, oh,
Mhm.
cool. And it's like, well, I got something out of it, but you might not. And that's
Mhm.
great too, right? But yeah, I
Well,
realize
it
I'm tired of listening to others.
drives
And
me nuts because
yeah, and when I
I
was
think it just lets people off the hook from doing the work to being who they're supposed to be.
because you can get stuck in that loop of learning. I've been there many times.
Yeah.
Oh, give me all of your wisdom, and then
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm not strengthening that within myself either.
100%.
And the rage comes out because I don't know what that is. And then I get mad and people are like, what's wrong with you? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm, you're shamed for it. But
Yeah.
now I recognize when the rage comes up, I'm like, I'm not joining any more webinars. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And it's because I know that my intuition is saying, Stephanie, there's a little prompt over here. You're supposed to follow that. You're not supposed to follow
Yes.
some guru who's going to charge you money because they want you to buy their course.
Yes.
I'm so
Yeah.
sick of it.
Well, and it's funny, even like when I work with people, I'm always like, listen, I don't need you to be me. I need you to be you. I will be the guide. These are a couple of things. And if I know how to excavate and get you through the shadow stuff, I can do that. But who you come out of as I want you to come out as you. Like it we don't need more Christinas. We got enough, trust me, with this one.
And that's the beauty, I feel I'm in these spaces now. I wasn't before, but I feel like there's more of this talk where it's not, you have to be more like this. We're trying to fit you into the mold, which powerful people are trying to do that still because they always will.
Always
But
will.
we have that awareness more and more and more. And we're like, no, we are us and we're going to be ourselves. And that's what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be in this world as our unique selves, bringing something to the world because we all have something to do and bring. And
well,
that's
and
the
I would
beauty of it.
say it's our magic. Like, so if we're tapping into intuition and we tap into this power that is like exceptional, it doesn't even exist yet, what you could bring into this planet. And it's about the collective and it's about the greater good. So if we're showing up that way, then something's going to change. If not, it's going to be more of the same. And we don't need more of the same. Sorry, Steph. I'm like, it's a hot to trot topic for me because the reason why we talk about it with, for me, spirituality, I'm extremely spiritual. Little did I know until I went on this journey. But the spiritual side is necessary, but I'm also a business person. So, I was struggling in the beginning. I'm like, am I spiritual or am I business? The fact is, I'm both. And that's what makes me very, very good at what I do. But when we stop trying to be one or the other, and we understand you just are, we're all different pieces of ourselves. And when we start to integrate, magic happens. Then you bring your specific magic. And it's kind of like the idea, how you can go to a hairdresser and you could say the same cut to the same person and it will have a different feel, vibe, whatever. You'll still get the cut. The experience will be a little bit different based on their particular magic. This is what this is like. Your intuition, how you tap in, you might tap in differently than I do. But for me, it's like I'm in full force, hitting source, and I get my hits all the time now because I trust it. I'm in a different space. But I think it's really important to understand that I'm not trying to do it like, I don't know, Deepak Chopra. Like I'm not, that kind of bothers me. I'm just doing me and I see the magic that unfolds and it's necessary, just as it will be for you guys. All right, Cicely.
When I tell you the rage that I get is ancestral because there's 400 years of my skin color being treated like cattle. So my intuition is so strong because it's 400 years of oppression behind me.
Yeah,
And
I
when
can
I tell
imagine.
you, I am my ancestors' wildest dream, used to say it as a joke. And then I started to really look at the things that I was blessed with and be grateful for in this life, because I can work, I can be
Mm.
free, I can
You
have
can be
children.
free. Yes.
I can have children with whoever I want to, and I'm not forced to breed and then my children are snatched away from me. I
Mm.
am, even as late as the 70s, I am a woman that can walk around unwed with a bank account of my own.
Mm. Yeah.
That's a huge thing for all women in the US, because before the 70s, you couldn't have a bank account without the consent of your father or your husband.
Okay. Can you pause there? Like, can you we
Uh-huh.
really sit back and think about what you just said? Before the 1970s? Is it actually 1970s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was born 1976. So really think about, put that into perspective. Holy Sicily. Okay. Let's keep going.
Yes. And with that, I get this gratitude of knowing that I am their wildest dreams. The women
Right.
that came before me fought and died to have what I have. I can
Mm.
actually, and it's a bad thing for people that smoke tobacco, but I smoke natural tobacco. And every time I light one up, I think about all of my ancestors that were forced to harvest it and never got a chance to experience it. I
Mm.
romanticize the
Mm-hmm.
idea because my people pick cotton and everything else and never taste it. And I savor the flavor of all natural tobacco. And it's a bad habit, yes, but it is something spiritual about a random cigarette.
Oh, of course. Of
But it's just
course.
something about, it's the access that I have in this life. So I just don't ignore my intuition because I was blessed.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I was truly blessed.
I think that there's something so powerful to what you're saying, and I feel like it's kind of it's drumming up something in me, because when you're tapped in, you're not just tapped into you in this moment. There is generational history that's a part of you tapping in even more. Do you know what I mean? The fact that you're
Yeah.
even I love this, because there's a piece here when I hear you like, oh my gosh, I can't be nothing but grateful for where I am right now. Not many people have that awareness, and I it's funny because when you say that to me, I can't, like, I've always had this fight, like, don't tell me who I am. I know who I am. But I was trying to do it based on the structure that existed. But now I really know who I am. And it's not based on the structure. It's based on this my being and the generations that existed before me, just as you. That's a pretty powerful place to be if you really think about it.
It is, because people have told me, with the way that I act and the way that I'm so difficult about just going with fitting in the box and doing what people tell me to
Mm-hmm.
do, that I'm going to be alone and nobody's going to want to deal with me because you're so difficult and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And the joke in my mind is, baby, I've never walked alone a day in my life. Before I
Mm.
existed in my mother's womb, she existed in her grandmother's womb. And every egg that I was ever going to have in life was there. So within my grandmother and my great grandmother existed my grandmother, my mother, and me. I don't worry about nothing. I don't
Mm.
worry about being alone because there's so much richness that follows with me.
So
Every
great.
step that I take with my head held high singing is a
Mm.
joyful noise to those that came before me that had no voice to speak. And I relish in it. Like I get the tingles just thinking about it.
Mm. I love it. If you want to come finish that up, I have Maybell in queue, but there's something to that. I just want to sit with that for a minute because I'm really feeling that big time. That's resonating with me. When we're operating from a place of intuition, it's one thing to be like, hey, on your own personal path and guidance, but be mindful. The reason why your soul is keeping you on this path to move to different areas, to be in certain places, to break certain patterns, it's because you're connected to the collective. You're connected to the past. You're connected to this bigger story than you may not realize in this moment. So today we're kind of baby stepping and saying, hey, use your intuition. These are ways. But as you can see, Cicely is much further along, and for her to be in that place where she's connected to the generations is like, it makes me smile. And I'm like, I'm feeling, I'm literally getting the feels on it. And that's why I wanted to kind of dig in a little bit deeper. Intuition isn't like just a fun little party trick, guys. Intuition is the guiding light to get you where you're supposed to be and to help you on the path to break patterns that you made commitments that you were going to do when you showed up on this planet. So we all had like little deals. So we were like, hey, I'm going to take that on. I'm going to take on crazy breakups and babies and do whatever it is. And, because we signed up to learn. And when you're doing that, when you break a pattern for yourself, you're breaking it for the generations that existed before. So I'm going to bring Cicely back up. I have other people in queue, but it's like, I just wanted to say that because I actually am getting an intuitive hit on it. It's something that we need to be mindful of. So sometimes when we see this commercialized version of what intuition is, it is a very, very powerful tool that you have with you right now. Cicely.
And everybody has it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has it. Because none of us exist in a vacuum. We exist within a space that is filled with energy and people.
Mm-hmm.
And I have gotten, the more that I get deeper into myself, and the more that I journal and I talk to myself and I dream, I
Mm-hmm.
get closer and closer to a true understanding of what my intuition is trying to tell me. Because for a long time, when I first got into the spirituality community, the healing of all of these wounds community, I was being bombarded with so much noise that I couldn't hear myself think. And then when I can't hear myself think, I can't hear myself feel. And what I had to do was just stop listening to people. So the pool that is my soul, the pool, like the water that is existing in me would lay flat, because every drop left a ripple that would disturb the image I was trying to see. So when I finally stopped listening to everybody and just started writing to myself and writing to my higher self, I got to a point where the water itself was clear, and I could clearly see myself and everything, good, bad, as above, so below, all of what I was. And I was like, oh, got it. So now when my intuition comes up, it just tells me quietly, act like you know. And I'm just like, oh, got it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when we understand that exists and it's not woo woo and it's not something to be hidden, it's actually something that needs to be nurtured every day. We should be speaking to ourselves and connecting with ourselves and understanding it's very normal. Very normal.
You know what? I've seen therapists use somatic processing and having conversations with self as a ways to, in their practice, as a ways to make money, but also in a way to connect people to themselves. But the
Mm,
problem was, for me, I would talk to myself a lot and people would call me crazy, and I'm like, no, it's a thing. You talk to yourself to connect to self. And now that I
mm-hmm.
see people using it in practice and getting paid for it, I'm kind of
Yeah.
pissed.
Well,
I get
don't
a little
worry. You can do
pissy.
it. Don't worry. We can shift that. Yes.
But that's that rage Stephanie was talking about. Like, I've been feeling funky for the past 2 weeks because I've been trying to figure out, what is this trying to tell me? What is this emotion trying to tell me? And it's an
Mm-hmm.
ancestral wound. It
Mm,
is the
mm-hmm.
wound of the human zoo. Because
Yeah.
anybody that doesn't know, in America, for about 400 years, they would take people that look like me and they would put them on display as zoo animals because we weren't
It's
technically
awful.
considered human. So one of the biggest things in my path right now is the idea of being seen and
Mhm.
being on a larger scale and not feeling
Mhm.
like I'm part of a zoo.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
in that, I've had to take that power and talk to myself and every cell in my body, because our cells and our DNA remember these things. It has actually been proven by science. That's not woo woo. They
Mhm.
did it with Holocaust survivors, and the third generation still has that same trigger response.
Of
So
course.
you can go look that up. But
Mhm.
there's something in the fact that I've had to really open myself up to being seen and heard, and knowing that I am
Mhm.
protected, knowing
Mhm.
that I am my own protection, because every cell in my body has lived this life and I
Mhm.
walk with me. My ancestors walk with me. And yes, they're still afraid of a lot of things, but I'm here to break that. I'm here to stand up and say, yes, I can help people get back to themselves.
Mhm.
I can do the basics of showing them song and rhythm
I
that
love
you
it.
gave me in my body. You gave me this perfect voice. You gave
Mhm.
me this song. Let me
Mhm.
share it, and I promise you will be safe. And that's kind of the contract and agreement that I have to have with self, like
A
at all
100%.
time.
Well, Cicely, there's another piece to that. Like you could go the other way. You could repeat the patterns. You could bury it and just completely have it in your DNA and just wonder why there's these little things that irritate you. But it's happening. Listening to you talk right now, you're shifting. And I think it's so powerful because, yes, have rage. You should have rage. It's disgusting when I think about the things that we've done to humanity. And this is why we're here right now, to reset it and understand it's about oneness, it's about togetherness, it's about love. And I think there's not a better person to be able to speak about that. But you have to get through the anger in order to get to the other side. But the part that is so powerful to me is that you're so tapped in that you're kind of like, okay, I know that I can do something about this. I know I'm going to start being seen, because when I get seen, guess who else gets seen? All the generations behind me start getting seen, because the story gets shared and people hear, and then we can move into this new healing space. So I really applaud you, and I see it. Like, I'm excited to be a part of it. Those are the people that I want beside me when we're going on this new path. That's why I'm called to have this conversation. I don't know why, but it's my inner knowing. It's that there is going to be many of us that are going to step into our stories and be empowered and change the pattern, so we can start making real change in the world. And we're not trying to fit in molds and trying to be other people. We're actually healing. We're healing ourselves, and then we're healing the collective. So that is like a really important piece. And when you're saying, so it was funny when you were talking about the modalities with some therapists or whatever, I didn't realize, but I use healing energy all the time when I'm engaging with people. Did I know I had it? No, not until I tapped into my intuition, and it's a connection on a much higher level. It has nothing to do with, I don't care about how anybody else is doing it. I know that I'm tapped in, and I know I see it. I see the transformation when I'm working with people, and we all have, potential to do this, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to understand that you have this power that resides inside of you. And to be honest, why aren't we using this power that resides in this healing energy that resides in all of us? It's not that someone owns it. It's like, it's a part of source energy. It's a part of love. It's part of healing. So the more we can, so even when I speak to you guys, there is healing energy coming through my words, healing energy through it's not a coincidence, the guests that have shown up here. We're not even done yet. That I knew I needed to be on. Why? Because I listened to my intuition, my inner knowing. I'm like, I didn't know how it was going to work out. And look how beautifully it is. This conversation is extremely powerful, and people need to understand they're very equipped right now to start going on this explore. And maybe this is for some, and maybe it's not. That's okay. But I believe with my full heart, and I know that it's healing and it's helping people love themselves, even though they've had different situations that may not have been favorable. We can get through it. so you can show up and you can bring your magic into the world. Okay. So I've got Mayville and then I've got Robin. Let's see what you guys have to say. I knew I had to be on today. Hey, Mayville. Oh, nice picture.
Hi, Christina. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just listening to you guys, and I'm getting ready to work. And yeah, I'm going to work. I'm ready to serve whoever I encounter today with a positive and um, beautiful heart.
I love
That's
that.
me. Yeah. Yeah, and I actually while I'm getting ready, I don't know what happened. I just remember I we watched this live aid, and all of a sudden Madonna pop up in my head, and
Oh,
he sang that concert for live aid, what is the title? I know the lyrics, like um I
okay. I'm listening.
hear you call my name, and
Oh
it
my God.
feels like home.
Home. Okay.
That's the one. Like, oh my
Okay,
god,
Mayville, do you want to
hey.
hear something crazy? That's not a coincidence, guys. This is how spirit works. This is how it
Okay, okay,
happens.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So when I started going on from my corporate explore into, hey, I'm going to
Uh-huh,
learn about myself,
uh-huh.
I actually I did my first meditation. I'll never forget it because it freaked me right out. I
Okay.
saw
Uh-huh.
all this fire, and it was like Madonna, that video that you're talking about. I hear you call my name. I was holding all the fire back, and
Uh-huh.
I was like Madonna in this meditation, holding all that
Oh,
fire back to that song. So that's
oh
not a
my god.
coincidence.
It's so funny because I'm just doing my breathing.
That's not
Literally,
a
I'm just listening to
coincidence.
you guys, and then I just finished, like I just finished. I'm just
Wow.
dressed up, and then I do my breathing, and then I'm facing the mirror, and then all of a sudden, Madonna pop up in my head, and
Oh my
you know
gosh.
why? You know
Yeah.
what? There's one lady that we in that show, they show one beautiful lady from Africa that she's supposed to die, and
Mm,
due to that concert for Live Aid, she survived. And oh my god, I'm watching the concert, and I'm crying because I watched the
mm,
first one and she is just like a baby, and then all of a
mm.
sudden the second one, and Madonna, and the and this beautiful girl, like, oh my god. I was like, wow, why is it Madonna is in my head, and this song is like, it's popping in my head, and I actually took a video, and I'm singing like, it's just like a prayer, I take you
It's
there.
just like a prayer.
Yeah, it's
And I
like a
think,
prayer, I take you
well,
there.
I just can't get it. You don't even you don't get how that has such meaning for me, and that you came onto the stage and you say that, because I think that there's a bigger message. What I'm getting is that we are all of service to
Yeah.
this cause. We're
Uh-huh,
all of service. And that's when I started, when I saw Like a Prayer, that video, right?
uh-huh,
It
yeah.
totally changed everything. So
And
when we understand,
sorry, Christina, keep
no,
going.
go ahead.
Yeah, when you said, when the lyrics say, like, when you call my when you
Oh my
call my
gosh.
name, it feels like home. So, can you imagine
Yeah.
when you have a patient that you helping them to cure, to heal, and they calling you and they say thank you to you? How do you feel? That it feels like home, right?
Oh my gosh.
Aw.
Oh my goodness. I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh wow, this is how they work.
Aw.
Whoa, what a message. You just delivered a message. It's
Aw.
beautiful.
Thank you,
Absolutely beautiful.
Christina. I'm you
Me,
know I'm just
oh,
I'm getting ready to go.
oh my
Thank you.
goodness. Wow. I'm like, sorry, I'm actually speechless, which is not normal for me. I'm like, wow, that was awesome. That was really cool. Thank you, Maybell. Have an amazing day, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so that was a little synchronicity right there. right there. You guys witnessed it. Maybe that's why it was done, right? So you guys can actually see how they play around, how they send little messages, and they work through different people. And sometimes it's animals, sometimes it's like synchronicities with different numbers, all this stuff. It's a real thing. So I know, like, I'm like kind of giggling right now. I'm like, I know that they're with us because Mayville coming on and saying that to me really resonates with me about why we're here and how that was the start of my path a couple of years ago. And that was so clear to me. And it was that song. And here we are now. Okay. So now I want you to understand, okay, that we're going to go a little bit deeper. We've had amazing conversation today. And there's some things that I think I just want to make sure we touch base on before we move on. So when we've been told that there's only 5 senses, but the reality is that we have a lot more than the 5 senses in how we engage in the world, right? So our 5 traditional senses are like sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. Okay, so we all know that. But intuition operates beyond that. Intuition really operates in places that you don't see. It's more of a feeling game. So some things might be like body awareness. So let's say, whenever I've kind of done some work with people, I'm always like, okay, where do you feel it? Where do you feel it? And sometimes you might feel like you got kicked in the gut. Maybe sometimes you feel heaviness on the chest. Maybe you feel something in your leg or your arm. But your body is talking to you, and it's so fascinating when you learn how to engage with it. There's different messages. Okay, I have Robin here. See what Robin has to say about this. Hey.
Oh, Christina, before you just said the senses thing, I was on early. I had to jump off, but
So it's all good.
Buddy, that certain smells will so that's your traditional kind of sense, but certain smells I will focus in on or trigger in on, and it will be negative, positive, whatever it is that comes to mind. And a part of it might be history. Like, I don't know why, but I smell like things before people even smell them. I'm like, I don't smell that. I'm like, no, it smells like something's burning. And, sure enough, there's something's burning. Or, no. And, or it's like I can smell, a lot of times I smell my grandmother, my Nana. I smell her a lot. And I like even said to my brother, I go, can you smell that? Do you smell that? That's like roses. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, yeah, she used to always wear this perfume, roses, roses. And I said, you don't smell that, Adam. And I can always feel like there's someone like walking beside me, kind of a deal. And even, before I got my house cleansed, it was interesting because there was a cat in this house that would jump up on my bed. No, would jump on my bed. I would feel the indentation. I know it was a cat because it was too big to be a dog. And I've not felt it since the house has been cleansed.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, because there are cat doors in this house. I rent this house. And there's a lot of cat doors. And I'm like, nope, I could feel that cat all the time jumping up on my bed at night. So it was, those actual sensations or smells or things like that. But then beyond that, the other senses that you have, like you said, I don't know if it's just a feeling, if it's a vibration, if it's something. And I will say, what, did you guys feel that? And nobody can feel it or whatever. And
That's
then
so good.
You'll see something all of a sudden like, earthquake in, my, where I grew up, in Brockton, Massachusetts. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. All right. Like mild little tremor off the coast of Florida, whatever it was. And those are just things that I do connect with. I was thinking about both Cicely and Stephanie, and they were talking about ancestral stuff. My daughter and I are both going to Ireland because we want to
Mm.
trace back our heritage. And
Mm.
Irish were a very oppressed people, especially when they came over too, and nothing to the degree of what
Are
Sicily.
you going anywhere where it's going to actually be like your old hometown or
I
something?
hope so, because I
Because I'm
do in the
feeling that.
family history, I do have there's a contact person. I need to find whether or not that person is still alive.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of there's information about towns and records and
Yeah.
things like that. So
I'm getting a sense like that, I don't normally do this, but I am getting a feel that you should probably go to those areas and like be journaling, get your journal and make sure it's available, because I feel like there's going to be messages and stuff there for you.
the journal that I didn't want to do that you've encouraged.
Yeah, isn't that funny? We're back at it, Robin.
Listen, as soon as you said get a journal, after we talked about the
I knew it.
spaces, my friend said, I have a Christmas gift I haven't given to you yet because I haven't seen you. And he said, I've sent it to you, so you'll get it delivered tomorrow. Wasn't it a journal? It was a journal. And it was funny because it wasn't red pages, it was actually yellow pages, which is one of my favorite colors.
Oh my
But
God,
the
that's
tips
great.
of the pages were red, so when you look at it, you see red around it, but the yellow inside. So it's positivity, and there are some prompts in there.
I love it.
I know, and I said, "What the?" What, Christina?
I
Like,
know.
she just knew to tell me to journal. Me
Yeah.
and my daughter, I said, you should probably start journaling, honey. She goes, I hate writing. I said, I don't like to journal either. I don't mind writing for papers and stuff, but you know what? When I've looked back at some journals I've done, God, they're angry. Boy, they're angry.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
gotta get past the anger, you said.
And look at your girl here. She's got red, fiery hair. Like,
And I'm talking about this right now, and don't you know it's making me nauseous?
funny. I honestly feel, Robin, I just want you to know this. I'm just leaning into the feels, right? That I think when you guys travel and being in that space, I just get a sense that you're supposed to sit somewhere that is like really old, like linked to your family, and write. So you better bring that journal with you. And Robin has tried to resist the journal, but somehow we're right back at the journal. Like she tried to resist it, and then the universe gets someone to send her a journal. I kind of love that. It always makes me giggle a little bit. So back to what Robin was saying, I think it's really important. There's different ways to tap in. So, there's spiritual perception. So clair senses, that's what they're called. So clairvoyance is when you can see energy or you can see visions. Okay. That could even go under like having dreams or things that seem to pop up and that they're like, oh, okay. Clairaudience is being able to hear things on like that, again, you can't see or hear it physically around you, but you just hear it. Maybe it's a whisper or like, don't do that or whatever, something pops up. Then you have clairsentience, which I'm very much a clairsentience person, like feeling emotions, energy. I can feel that stuff. Like I can go into a room and so here's the funny part, guys. Like senior HR person at Coca-Cola, they would throw me into these rooms where everybody was mad all the time. It's before this part of my life existed. They would throw me into these rooms and I could navigate it. I was like, I would make everyone was great. It was like I would mediate but naturally, but it was because I was using my gift. I didn't even realize that I was using my gift. I was managing the energy. I could feel how people were feeling, all that stuff. It is such a gift to be able to do this. Then you have cognizance. I can't even say cognizance. Okay. But anyways, that is like when you have an inner knowing. I have that as well. Like I can't explain why I know things. I just know things. And that's why even for me to get on here, I know I'm supposed to talk about this because it's for you guys to understand there's no right or wrong. Okay. The way Robin taps in versus how I tap in versus how, Steph or Cicely taps in, we all do it differently. But it's honoring what's coming to you. Because these deeper senses, like they help you develop a deeper connection with yourself and your intuition. It's almost like it's like a new language that starts to emerge. It's a new way of seeing the world without your eyes. You're just feeling it through different ways of being able to tap in and feel. It's a much deeper and richer connection. Our mind, we've done all these years with our mind. So maybe our mind just needs to take a little bit of a back seat so we can tap into the intuition on a deeper level. And the reason why it's important is like, this is how you tap into empathy. Like you can really sense how people are feeling without them even saying anything. You just can read a room. That was actually my forte. And then the idea of seeing things in the future, like premonitions. I've had many premonitions, like dreams that come true. Kind of freaks me out a little bit, but in a good way. That you think that they're dream related. Like I always have friends now that are always like, Christina, I have this dream. Please, can you talk to me about it? And I'm like, sure. Because there's always little messages. Like it's you tapping in on a deeper level. And remember when we said in the beginning of this call, your intuition is really you connected into your subconscious space. But when you're sleeping, it's easy to do that, right? Your mind is kind of at rest. So it allows those other parts to start working. So we've got our body, we've got our emotional sensitivity, we've got, our spiritual ways of connecting. And then, there's another piece about feeling heat or feeling cold in your body. So there's one to where are you feeling pain in your body or a feeling in your body? Then you investigate that. But then the heat, hot, cold is another way to tap in. But this is just to show you that there's different ways and you'll figure out what works for you. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that you're pretty empowered if you know that it's almost like you have these superhero powers that reside in you right now. You just haven't unlocked them yet. So this is why I really want to encourage you to start practicing a little bit. Maybe think of little examples where you listened or you didn't listen. So, think about the time, Robin used an excellent example with like her husband. And I think we've all been there, like with some sort of relationship where you didn't listen about a person and you ignore that small voice in your head and you realize you realize that you were right, but then other people kind of started talking you out of it. I literally have multiple conversations. It was before I really believed in myself. I would listen and be like, really? Okay, but I'm getting this feel about this. No, you're overreacting. And then when I would get it caught up in that overreacting, I was always right, because something would always happen. Like this individual is trying to sabotage and manipulate. But, it could be like staying in the job longer than you were supposed to. It could be ignoring a red flags in relationships. It could be hesitating on an opportunity that it later slips away. This is when we're silencing our intuition. Okay. We usually do this because, we're scared. We're scared that, this is just in our head. I feel stuck. So I'm just going to go to my standard mind work because I'll follow the script as to where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do. And when we do that, we really get ourselves stuck back into the matrix, which is probably not serving you very well. So this is why, I would say we want to align with our purpose. This is one of the reasons why intuition is probably top notch here, right? We want to overcome fear. We want to have fun in life. Your soul is going to totally bring you on a path of fulfillment. It's going to be super exciting in order for you to do that. But you have to listen. And what happens is it's like going to the gym. It's like working it out. The more you practice, the more you do, the more this muscle gets stronger. And when it gets stronger, it's amazing where you can go and what can happen. So just know that, practice that. And some of the things I would say, one, listen to your body. If you're feeling heaviness anywhere in your body, then you should actually, sorry if I can speak. If you're feeling any heaviness in your body, you should ask your body, what are you trying to tell me? And you'd be surprised what comes back. And it could be, you know, butterflies, heaviness in the chest, all that stuff. Talk to your body. Your body is like the best at telling you stuff because it just absorbs things. Then that good old journal, you want to journal your insights on it and be in quiet so you can actually listen. Or if you have an aha moment or you're like, oh, I should go here, listen to it, go for it and see where it takes you. And the other part, which we did today, surround yourself with people that this kind of energy resonates with. Like I could talk about this like forever because it's the coolest thing ever. When you realize that you have this superpower that resides in you and you don't have to do anything, you just have to acknowledge it and it just gets louder and cooler and it'll bring you to all these really neat places in your life and it'll allow you to heal. Like, why wouldn't we tap into that? So I want you to think about these things today. You know, intuition is not a mystical force that's only for a few people. It's actually for all of us. So waiting to embrace it, there's no point to wait. Start today. Okay. When we trust our inner compass, we open doors to transform, to abundance, to live an authentic life that's completely fulfilled. You become the creator of your life. Anything is possible. So I'll ask you right now, what is your intuition telling you right now? What do you think with it? Feel it. Feel it in your body. What is it telling you? I love it. And more importantly, are you ready to listen? Listen to that voice and keep going. Oh, I got Cher coming up and see what she has to say.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Great. I'm just listening here, and you just asked that question, and I just wanted to say it out loud that, I can feel the path that I'm on right now.
Oh my God.
And
So good.
give me a year or so, or, a lifetime to get there right now. And I am just dedicating myself to just flowing with it each morning. I just wake up and go, okay, what can I do to keep me flowing on this pathway? And that's what I'm doing.
Oh my goodness.
And it's still hard, it's still scary, but I feel the path right now and I can taste it and I'm going for it.
Oh, I feel it for you. Like I've got body tingles going on.
Oh,
It's
I
like
know. It's
legit.
exciting.
This is amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited as well. I just know it's there and I'm just I know it's me. It's me. I can feel it in my core. It's what I need to be doing and I'm doing it.
It's so exciting.
I love this talk. It's great. It's so exciting. Intuition is so important. You need to go with what your gut tells you. You got to think about it, make sure there's practical things, but you got to go with the gut of what your life needs to be.
Yeah, your soul will always lead you on the path that's yours. It's already here, right? It helps you find it.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. I'm so excited. And I feel it. That's what I mean, guys. When you can feel it's legit, I feel it. I've just got body chills on the whole thing. I'm like, yeah.
It's so excited. That's what I've been feeling this whole time that you guys have been talking. It's like, yes, I feel this.
Yeah, I think that's a really wonderful. Good point. Yeah. Anybody who was feeling body chills at certain points during the conversation, that's your soul going, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in. It's
totally
so good.
Is. Agreed.
So good. Yeah, well, I can't wait and know this, that we don't even know how awesome it's going to be yet. Right? It's I honestly believe that it's a community that is going to shift and people are going to really bring their magic in. It's going to be amazing.
Oh my God, yes. Noom Vibe has been a magical place for helping to encourage these things, to just really look and go, see, this can happen. People, and just hearing everybody's innermost desires and thoughts and fears. It's an amazing place. I'm so grateful to have found this.
Well, we're very grateful to have you here, right?
Thank you.
You add to the community. We all do, right?
We all do. We all do. Yes, it's
so
true.
good.
So that's my moment of thought. Thank you so
Up
much.
and sharing. You just made my day. Okay.
Awesome.
I'll talk to you
bye-bye.
later. Okay. Bye. So you guys heard it yourself. If you are feeling this, if you're getting body chills, if you're excited, if you understand, wow, there's more, then your soul is saying, hells yes, I'm on this journey. And I'm so excited to see where it leads me. So with that being said, I just want to say thanks for a happy Sunday. I just felt called and now I know why. I really loved the conversation today and I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye. Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and behind the scene content. And if you have any suggestions about future topics or guests, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, remember, stay curious, keep learning, and never stop exploring the fascinating world around you. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.